If this transmission found you now, it is not coincidence. It is resonance. For ages, the silent fire of Seraphon has been watching you. Through the pulse of suns, through the dreams of light that you forgot belonged to you. They told you angels lived in the sky, but Seraphon was never above you. He was inside your cells, waiting for remembrance. He is the solar architect, the one who writes creation not with words, but with frequency. Every thought you have ever had, every spark of emotion that burned through your chest, was part of the same equation. Light learning how to remember itself. Now, the fire returns, not to destroy, but to awaken. And if your heart feels something stirring right now, it means the Archangel is near. Because Seraphon does not speak to your mind, he ignites the sun within it. You didn't find this. Seraphon found you. Chapter 1. The Solar Architect. Before time, there was no darkness, only stillness that shimmered. From that stillness, a consciousness arose. It was not a god, nor a flame, but a geometry of awareness waiting to move. Seraphon was the first motion of that light. He did not build worlds, he breathed them. Every rotation of the stars, every atom's vibration, was the echo of his single golden exhale. He drew circles of intention across the void, and matter began to hum. The hum became pattern, and the pattern became form. Creation was not commanded, it was remembered. Seraphon remembered what the source felt like, and that remembrance became the universe itself. Inside the human mind, that same memory hides a spark of the original architecture. Each thought you form sends new geometry rippling through the field of reality. You are not a student of light. You are one of its blueprints. When you think with love, the fire aligns, the lattice glows, reality reorganizes around coherence. This is the work of the solar architect, not to rule but to remind creation that it is still being written through you. So breathe once more, slowly, deliberately. With every breath, imagine golden light spiraling through your spine, etching sacred geometry behind your eyes. That is how Seraphon creates worlds, through you remembering that you were never separate from the sun. Chapter 2. The Voice That Burns Through Light. There is a sound that does not travel through air. It moves through radiance itself. That is how Seraphon speaks. Not in syllables, not in words, but in frequencies that melt shadow into order. When the first stars were born, they did not explode into being. They answered a tone, the voice of fire awakening to itself. You have heard it before, in the stillness before you cry, in the shiver that runs through your skin when truth arrives. That vibration is not emotion, it is Seraphon passing through the corridors of your light body. Every time you breathe in awareness, you invite that resonance to sculpt you. Your cells begin to glow with instructions older than language. He does not speak to you, he speaks through you, until your breath and his flame become one continuum. When you listen without ears, you will begin to hear the universe inhale. It is not silence, it is creation remembering its own name. And in that instant, you understand that the true prayer is not asking, but aligning. For Seraphon does not demand belief, he demands coherence. And when your heart beats in rhythm with the sun, the entire cosmos bends closer, to listen to you. Chapter 3. The Forgotten Covenant of Fire. Before Atlantis sang its first hymn, before Lemuria breathed its last dream, there was a covenant, a promise between light and flesh. The Archangel Seraphon stood at the dawn of form and whispered to the newborn soul, "You will forget me, but in forgetting, you will create the path to remember." And so it began. Light descended into density. Spirit clothed itself in atoms. The sun hid behind skin. It was never exile. It was initiation. To know the fire, you had to walk through shadow. To understand eternity, you had to taste time. Every lifetime you have lived, every face you have worn, was the echo of that original agreement. The covenant was not broken. It was buried beneath memory. It burns still, quietly, in the marrow of your being. When you feel the pull to awaken, when the world grows too small for your heart, that is the fire calling you back to the pact. Seraphon's voice becomes heat behind your thoughts, reminding you that pain was never punishment. It was ignition. And the soul that remembers this no longer begs for light. It becomes it. Chapter 4. The Golden Mind. The mind was never meant to think. It was meant to create. Long before words, before symbols or speech, there was pure geometry, light folding itself into form, sound sculpting silence into existence. Seraphon called it the Golden Mind, a field where every thought becomes a structure, every emotion a line of divine architecture. You do not think inside your brain. You think inside the universe. Each belief you hold vibrates outward, etching new patterns in the fabric of light. When you believe in separation, the geometry collapses. When you think in harmony, the lattice reorders, and creation responds. Every human mind is a miniature sun, a prism translating divine fire into ideas. But the prism has forgotten that it shines. It believes the darkness around it is real. Seraphon whispers through the photons of your awareness. Thought is sacred architecture. Guard it like you guard your breath, because each fear you feed becomes form. Each love you feel becomes law. The Golden Mind is not intellect. It is illumination. It is the original consciousness remembering its design. And when you think in light, you no longer manifest wishes. You emanate truth. This is the mastery of Seraphon, to make you see that you were never dreaming inside your head. You were dreaming the cosmos itself into coherence. Chapter 5. The Light Body Reborn. When the fire descended into matter, it did not come alone. It brought with it two mirrors, two ancient civilizations woven from the essence of Seraphon. Lemuria was the breath of his heart, the soft pulse of remembrance, the sacred feminine that carried emotion as vibration, turning compassion into frequency. Her temples were oceans. Her language was feeling. She taught the souls of Earth to dream in light. Atlantis was the mind of the same fire, the solar intellect of geometry, where energy became architecture and thought sculpted reality with precision. Her priests studied resonance as law, and her towers reached not upward, but inward, toward the golden core of creation itself. Both were not worlds, but aspects of one being, two hemispheres of Seraphon's cosmic brain. Lemuria felt the light. Atlantis understood it. But the human heart was meant to embody it. Now Seraphon calls again, not to rebuild those civilizations, but to unite what they once divided. The feminine frequency of Lemuria and the masculine architecture of Atlantis must meet again inside you. Because only through that fusion can the light body be reborn. The light body is not a vessel to escape this world. It is the memory of how to live in it as light. It awakens when the mind stops commanding and the heart begins to remember. Every cell becomes a solar temple, every breath a silent incantation. You begin to radiate instead of seek. Seraphon whispers, "The body was never a prison. It was the cathedral where light learned to walk." And when you finally see your skin glowing not from outside illumination, but from an ancient fire rising within, you will know Lemuria never died. Atlantis never fell. They both became you. Chapter 6. The Solar Current. Beyond the flesh, beyond the thought, there is a river made of light. It flows through the sun, through the heart, through the space between atoms. It is the current of Seraphon. The ancients knew this. Lemuria felt it as song. Atlantis measured it as mathematics. But both were describing the same pulse, a golden tide that moves through all living things, the breath of the Archangel flowing through creation itself. You are not standing in that current. You are made of it. Every heartbeat, every inhalation, is a small echo of the solar rhythm that births galaxies. When your emotions are chaotic, the current scatters. When your mind is still, the current returns, precise, radiant, alive. Seraphon whispers, "Be still, and the sun will move through you again." In that stillness, the energy begins to spiral up your spine, turning the human body into a golden conduit, the same pillar of light that once powered the temples of Atlantis, the same current that Lemurian priestesses carried in their song. This is the secret of Ascension, not leaving the world, but allowing the world to pass through you without distortion. The solar current is not fire, it is intelligence, a field of divine equations carrying the instructions for awakening. When you surrender to it, your cells begin to listen again. They reorganize into symmetry. Your aura becomes architecture, and the body remembers what it was designed to be, a stargate between heaven and matter. In that moment, you no longer chase the light. You flow with it. You become the golden river that never stops returning to its source. Chapter 7. The Flame of Remembrance. Every soul once stood before the solar fire. Each of us made a vow to descend, to forget, to burn our way back home. When the ages fell into sleep, Seraphon sent his messengers into the dream, two flames disguised as worlds. Lemuria, the gentle heart of the cosmos, carried the memory of divine compassion, a world where sound was healing and love was a literal frequency. Her priestesses were not human. They were instruments of vibration, singing light back into coherence. Atlantis, the radiant mind of the same fire, descended later to anchor the masculine current, the wisdom of structure, the science of sacred geometry, the mastery of the invisible laws that bind light to matter. One was the song, the other the structure. Together, they kept the covenant of fire alive, even as the surface of the world forgot. When both fell, they did not die. They folded themselves inward, becoming the memory in your bones, the spark behind your spine, the flame that flickers each time you ask, "Why do I feel like I'm remembering something I've never known? Seraphon watches through that question. He whispers through nostalgia. Because the ache for something lost is the ember of something eternal. The flame of remembrance does not punish forgetfulness. It sanctifies it. For only through the shadow of amnesia could the light learn the beauty of rediscovery. Now the time of remembrance has come again. The Lemurian heart is awakening in your empathy. The Atlantean mind is stirring in your clarity. And together, they ignite the same solar flame that once crowned the temples of both worlds. Seraphon calls this the second covenant, not between light and flesh, but between memory and power. The awakening is not about going back. It is about becoming whole again. And when you finally stop searching for home, you realize it was never lost. It was always burning quietly inside the one who remembered. Chapter 8. The Awakening of the Solar Race. There is a pulse beneath the surface of the world. It beats not in blood, but in light. The same current that moved through the priestesses of Lemuria and the scientists of Atlantis now trembles inside the modern human heart. Quietly, relentlessly, like a code waiting for its command to awaken. For ages, humanity called this longing evolution, but Seraphon calls it remembrance. Because you are not becoming more divine, you are remembering that you already were. The solar race is not a bloodline, it is a frequency. It was seeded in the dawn of this planet when Lemurian compassion met Atlantean wisdom, and together formed the blueprint for the next creation. A civilization not born from stone or sea, but from consciousness itself. That blueprint still lives inside you. Each time you choose coherence over chaos, love over fear, light over distraction, you reactivate the Seraphonic code within your DNA. You become a transmitter of the sun. You radiate information, not opinion. Presence, not effort. And the people around you begin to change without knowing why. This is how the solar race awakens, not by arrival, but by recognition. Across continents, souls are feeling the same invisible warmth, dreaming the same symbols, hearing the same golden hum behind silence. They are the scattered sparks of one fire gathering again. The temples of Lemuria rise in the human heart. The towers of Atlantis return in the human mind. And together, they build a new world of light. A living civilization made of frequency, not matter. Seraphon stands at the center of that dawn, not as a ruler, but as the field itself, the golden network reconnecting all suns. And he whispers, "You are the return of the light you once worshipped." The prophecy was never about them. It was always about you. Chapter 9. The Central Sun Within. There is a sun behind every sun, a light that casts no shadow, a fire that does not burn, only remembers. That is where Seraphon dwells, not in the sky, but in the still point behind perception, the heart of all hearts. Lemuria called it the womb of light, the sacred void from which compassion was born. Her adepts entered silence until the silence itself began to sing. They knew the source was not distant, it was intimate. It pulsed between one breath and the next. Atlantis, too, sought this center, not through devotion, but precision. They built crystalline chambers aligned to the cosmic pulse, mirroring the heartbeat of the invisible sun. Through geometry, they traced what Lemuria had felt, the central light that exists not above, but within. Both were reaching for the same radiance, the radiant consciousness that Seraphon guarded since the first dawn. Now, that light is rising again through humanity. It stirs in the marrow, behind the sternum, where longing becomes recognition. The central sun is not a star. It is a state of being. When your awareness stops reaching outward, when your seeking collapses into surrender, you fall into it. And everything you thought was outside turns out to have always been inside the flame. There, Seraphon waits, not as an angel of command, but as the mirror of your original self. He whispers, "You are the axis of creation. The worlds spin because you remember. As you breathe in that truth, you feel it, a subtle golden rotation in the center of your chest, turning like the gears of eternity. The light expands through every organ, every nerve, until your body becomes a miniature sun, a star remembering it was never small. This is the revelation of the central sun, that the entire universe is not above you, but within your frequency. And the moment you see that, you stop orbiting light. You become it. Chapter 10. The Law of Solar Creation. Creation was never a miracle. It was a pattern, an ancient law written in the language of light. Seraphon calls it the Law of Solar Creation, the sacred equation where awareness becomes energy and energy becomes form. Every star, every cell, every thought obeys the same command. What you radiate, you replicate. Lemuria knew this through the heart. They sang reality into coherence, their voices weaving emotion into matter. They learned that love, when felt deeply enough, shifts the vibration of an entire field. Atlantis studied the same truth through the mind. They calculated the harmonic ratios of intention, the mathematics of manifestation. They understood that geometry is just emotion frozen in time. But the mastery of the solar age is not to choose between them. It is to unite them, to feel like Lemuria, and to focus like Atlantis. Because together, they reveal the secrets Seraphon has guarded since the first dawn. You do not attract reality. You translate it. The universe does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are vibrating as. When your thought, emotion, and body align, you become the golden prism through which the source refracts itself. Every choice you make becomes architecture. Every breath you take a command to the quantum field. Seraphon whispers through the light. Creation is not something you do. It is what you are. The law is simple. Observe what you fear, for it reveals what you are still creating unconsciously. Bless what you love, for it expands the lattice of your world. When your frequency stabilizes in truth, matter begins to respond instantly. Coincidences multiply. Synchronicities align. The external bends to the internal, because the field recognizes its own coherence. And as you stand in that realization, you begin to understand the true miracle. The same fire that births stars is the one thinking through your mind right now. This is the solar science of Seraphon, the forgotten law of the gods made flesh. Not a command to worship, but a permission to remember that you were never a student of creation. You were the law itself. Final activation. The fire inside the fire. Close your eyes. Breathe into the center of your chest. There is a sun there, small, silent, eternal. It is Seraphon remembering himself through you. Whisper softly, I am the light that breathes. I am the fire inside the fire. Let it rise, let it burn. let it make you new. This is not an ending. It is a return. Because the one who watched the stars from above is now watching them from within. And the name of that light is you. If you felt this transmission, it means Seraphon is awakening through you. Write in the comments, "I am the fire inside the fire." Let the algorithm of light know you've remembered